Welcome back. Well, as we've been mentioning, it is back to school time, right? A lot of kids heading back in the classroom, a lot of kids doing virtual learning, and there's a lot of talk these days about safety, right? But let's talk a moment about online safety because, in my opinion, that is just as important as some of the other safety procedures and things that we are talking about these days. And this morning, we're happy to welcome Detective Rick Wistocki, who is joining us this morning to talk about online safety, what parents need to know. Again, this is a whole new world that we are living in 2020 with so many families now using online devices. It's changed everything. But this is something, from what I understand, Detective, you've been working on for quite some time. So I'd imagine when things really ramped up with online, I mean, it's just screaming to you how important it is that parents know what their kids are doing online.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a retired Naperville Police Department detective. I was there for 28 years. My last 22 years was in cybercrime. I retired after I did a TED Talk, and now I travel across the United States teaching in schools and teaching kids that no one has the right to make them do something that they shouldn't be doing, and no one has the right to make them feel bad about themselves. So when I go out throughout the country and I teach these kids, now with COVID, everybody's online learning. So a little stat for you, for the last several months from October to March when we were shut down, I was in 25 schools. Out of those 25 schools, I had 16 students come to me after saying that they were being abused through sextortion. So if those are only 16 kids, can you imagine when they're home? Can you imagine when they have these school devices for themselves? The biggest mistake parents make, and this is so important for your viewing audience to know, is that you cannot allow your child to have a device in their rooms at night, because that's when they're most vulnerable. I've arrested over 300 internet predators in my career, and the common denominator in every single one of those was that the parent allowed them to have their device in their room at night.
I'm so glad you said that. And I think a lot of parents think, well, my kid won't do that, or, that's not going to happen to our family. It's so easy just to kind of, I'm a positive person. I would like to think that. That's not going to happen to us.
Sure. And parents suffer from a horrible disease called the NMK syndrome. Not my kid. And they will say things to themselves like, I would never buy my 9-year-old a cell phone. She's way too young. She only has an iPad. It's the same thing. I mean, who needs phone service anymore with all the Wi-Fi? Every app I could put in an iPhone, I could put in an iPad, and parents seem to think that they're safer on an iPad, but it's quite the opposite. If a predator knows they can get to a kid through Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, and take them to Discord on their school device, they know it's an easy target because nobody's checking. And that brings us to our next point. I was searching for a software that was an Apple partner and to put on these devices, because parents need to have the ability to look inside what the kids are doing on the school device. And I tell parents all over the country, you need to know that your school, yes, your kid is safe at school with all of the internet access, but when they're home, if the school is not giving or putting in software like Lightspeed systems.com, Lightspeed is a Apple partner, and what that means is Apple allows them to monitor everything the kid is doing on that device. It is so fantastic. When I saw that, I was like, this is perfect, because there's a lot of software out there, monitoring software, that Apple doesn't allow parents to monitor the device. But because it's education, the parents need to know that yes, your kid is safe at school, but they're not always safe at home. And parents, you need to ask this question: is there software on the device that can control or monitor what my kid is doing? And when I saw what Lightspeed does, there's even a parent portal that parents can log in and see what their kid is exactly doing in real time on the device. It's amazing. It's almost like having a N95 mask on your router, because it'll protect your child from all that bad stuff coming into that device, no matter where they're at.
So I was going to ask specifically what it does. So I love that. You can actually go see real time what they're working on then. What else, or what are some of the other features that you're loving from this that are needed?
Yeah, when I saw how they do this, so they use AI. Okay, so artificial intelligence, where they can see strings of phrases, where they're searching, and it compiles all that data to make an alert for the school and the parent. Now, the school gets these alerts, and the principal, the school resource officer, the dean can get these alerts, as well as the parent can get an alert. And it'll take a screen capture of it, and it'll send it to the parent or the school to show exactly where the kid was when this happened. Now, it monitors whatever the kid does or whatever comes into that kid's device, which is so important. And parents need to ask those very important questions. In Illinois, I'm crafting a law that if the schools are not putting that software like Lightspeed into a device, that the parents have the opportunity to buy it themselves. And it's just so important to have, those things to keep our kids safe. If I'm getting 16 kids coming forward saying they're being sextorted all over the country, imagine how many of them are suffering in silence.
And I'd imagine age is a big issue too. I mean, we can't think kids are either too young or too old, to either know better, or that they're too young that they're not being sought after either.
Yeah, right. And when it comes to sextortion, so Thorn, which is a non-for-profit that is done by Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, they have numerous things on sextortion. One of their stats is that 60% of the people who do sextortion to other kids are someone they went to school with. So it's happening right in school. 40% of them are someone they met online or in a gaming platform. And we need to protect our kids from this.
We're out of time this morning. Thank you so much. Again, this is just as important, as you said, as those masks, wearing those in school. And I think we all need to make sure as parents we're doing our due diligence and making sure that our kids are as safe as possible. We all want that. Thank you for your time. We've been showing the website there for people to find out more information. And again, we just can't thank you enough.
And if parents want to have this education in their schools, they can go to besureconsulting.com. That's BESURE consulting.com. If parents want to take an online class, it's cyberparenting-101.com.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Detective. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.